Originally, when I wanted to check out the franchise, I was actually going to skip on the Persona 4 video game and just jump into the anime because of my complete lack of interest in JRPGs. However, I caved in, played the game, and loved it so much that my original choice to check out the anime adaptation was still intact. But is Persona 4 the animation a good anime and a good adaptation? Yes! Persona 4 the animation is a 26-episode anime in 2011 which was adapted from the critically acclaimed video game of the Shin Megami Tensei series. Starting April 2011, Yu Narukami moved to the rural town of Inaba, where he plans to live with his uncle Ryotaro Dejima and his cousin Nanako for about a year, while attending Yasugami High School and adapting from busy city life to a more simple country life. However, since the day after his arrival, a couple of bizarre murders happen around town, where dead bodies are found hanging from antennas on foggy days after heavy rain. This ended up getting linked to the Midnight Channel rumor, where if people watch the TV turned off on a rainy night at midnight, a visual of someone can actually be seen on the TV screen. What was thought to be an image of a soulmate actually turns out to be the next murder victim in Inaba. The victim is thrown into another world which is overrun by malicious creatures known as shadows, and the only way to gain entrance to that world is to walk through a TV screen. So Yu Narukami and his friends must venture into the TV world whenever they see a victim on the Midnight Channel, fight the shadows using their summoned entities known as personas, gain new allies, and discover who is the one responsible for throwing people in the TV in the first place, where they can die. So this anime is an action, comedy, drama, slice of life a little bit, with a murder mystery plot all nicely rolled into one. Since I'm a fan of the games Persona 4, Persona 4 Arena, and Persona 4 Golden, I will be doing a comparison between the original Persona 4 game and this anime I'm reviewing. However, it will still remain as spoiler-free as possible, since I want to encourage even those who haven't played the game to check the anime out, just in case someone out there isn't a big fan of JRPGs, mostly because of the gameplay. But the story-wise, it's really damn good, which is why I got hooked into it in the first place. I mean, the gameplay's alright for a JRPG, but the story and characters is what makes it awesome. And I even watched this anime with a friend of mine who has zero experience on the Persona 4. Hell, he has no experience in the Shin Megami Tensei series altogether. He and I watched this from start to finish, and he freaking loved this anime. So, hopefully, it does appeal to those who aren't just fans of Persona 4. I'll get the biggest difference out of the way first, and that will be Yu Narukami himself. Why? Because in the video game, the silver-haired protagonist, while he does have a small backstory explaining why he moved to Inaba, was nothing more than an avatar for the player. In fact, you can name him almost anything else if you want to. The protagonist did have dialogue choices, but his voice acting is limited to only grunt noises and shouting out persona names during battles. So for the anime, they couldn't just write him out of existence, they had to give him a set personality. And they did a fantastic job. Yu Narukami, while he does get serious when he has to be, he is as entertaining as the rest of the main cast. Yu has a witty, blunt, sometimes wooden, but mostly deadpan personality. He says some of the funniest lines in the anime, and even has some memorable moments for himself. In fact, because of him, some of the hilarious moments, like the King's Game scene during the field trip, ended up being funnier in the anime as opposed to the game. Overall, he was handled well with the adaptation, because if he wasn't, it probably would have been enough to destroy my interest in the anime altogether. Other than Yu, the story, characters, and plot remains almost intact. Chie's still a kung fu nut with an appetite for steak, Yukiko still runs an inn and goes into insane laughing fits when she hears a joke or wears those funny looking glasses, Teddy still talks with bear puns, and Yosuke's still Yosuke. Now that this is an anime adaptation, there's no need to worry about hours of dungeon crawling and other aspects of the game, So the anime dedicates its time to even develop the characters more and even provide time for all the supporting social link characters from the original PlayStation 2 game, save for Eri, who only makes a quick cameo and that's it. They even add some flashbacks and go into further details about some of the characters, such as a flashback of showing how Yukiko first met Chie and became friends from then on out. The animation was done by Studio AIC and Aniplex. Now, character designs are close to the game, save for a few minor differences, like Ryotaro Dejima having a more grisly looking face, and his beard's more noticeable. They even add little neat perks from the game to the anime, such as showing the calendar move when time passes. Characters have those emotion effects like they did during their social link events. And when the characters summon their persona, they have that close-up on the eyes effect, like when you land a critical hit or exploit a weakness. During the eye catches halfway into an episode, they actually show Yu Narukami's social stats, his diligence, understanding, courage, etc. And they actually show him develop after each episode, so that's interesting. The rest of the art looks pretty nice, rather colorful. A lot of use of yellow, just like in the video games. Character designs are extremely distinct from one another, and the Persona vs. Shadow fights are pretty exciting to watch. Kind of bugs me is that in the video games, the characters use weapons, but in the anime, they just solely rely on their personas to fight their way through. Oh yeah, they use a lot of blue for the Velvet Room, which is what every episode opens up with. Now, I am aware of the infamous 2 Chie scene that was in episode 13, but they did fix that error up in the DVD release, which is what I have and what I'm reviewing from. Now for the sound. Even though this is a Sentai Filmworks licensed anime, they were able to get a hold of the majority of voice actors from the game to reprise their roles. Johnny Young Bosch returns to voice of the protagonist, who is now named Yu Narukami. Yuri Lothal comes back as Yosuke. Familiar voice actors from early ADV, Amanda Winley, who voiced Riley Vincent from Gunsmith Cats, comes back as Yukiko Amagi. However, there were 3 major voice actors still replaced. Chie and Teddy are now respectively voiced by Aaron Fitzgerald and Sam Riegel, who would continue to voice those characters in Persona 4 Arena and Persona 4 Golden. I personally don't care who voices Teddy, they're both spot on, but, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, I thought Chie's replacement was far better. Not only did she sound more like her age, I thought she fit the spunky yet often careless girl more so. Now, as for the third replacement, which comes as a surprise to me because this character would have the same voice for all the games including Arena and Golden, was Naoto Shirogane. Naoto has a different voice in the anime, and like Teddy, doesn't matter either way because the character still is portrayed perfectly the same, but I'm gonna give credit here. Naoto in the anime sounds a little more masculine as compared to the video game's voice. I would go into further details about that, but that would be a spoiler for those who haven't played the game or seen the anime yet. If anybody's willing to hear me out, I might make a video response to this. As for the music, a lot of it is taken straight from the video game soundtrack composed by Shoji Meguro, that awesome video game soundtrack. There's even plenty of music from Persona 3 being used during episode 15, including the Burn My Dread opening and Mass Destruction. There's some new songs added in as well as a song that Rize Kujikawa finally sings, which is weird because in the video game, she was an idol, yet she never had any music in the game of her own. They finally got around to that. But of my favorite new song that was added into the anime would have to be Beauty of Destiny, which is used during the first 12 episodes of the anime as the closing song. I suggest looking it up and giving it a listen yourself. They even remixed that song for Persona 4 Arena as the main theme for that game. So those are my thoughts on Persona 4 the animation. It's a great anime as well as a great adaptation from a video game. Most video game adaptations of anime do have rather a hit or miss track record, but this is a hit for sure. The story is amazing, the characters are fun and likable, the action scenes make certain weak personas badass, such as Izanagi himself, and that music, whew, I could fucking listen to it all day. Of course it can be recommended to fans of the game to give it a chance, but I give it a high recommendation to anyone who is a fan of quality, just like in my Bamboo Blade review. I believe it can be watched subbed on Hulu, and it's available for Blu-ray and DVD, all 26 episodes. They're broken into 2 separate volumes though. However, the DVD version is recommended more because there's no Japanese audio feature for the Blu-ray release, at least not for the region I'm living in. And this is coming from a guy who will stick with dubs if such a feature exists. I just don't like the idea of supporting something that would strip away a secondary feature for something that's been around on DVDs for how many years? Over a decade probably. So that's all I have to say. Leave a comment if you wish. I don't know what the hell else I'm going to review next. Should I review Genshiken next? Feel free to comment and answer. And with that, DS217 signing out.